Race number 12, Emirates Team New Zealand, Alinghi, Red Bull Racing.
This is the race committee. We have passed the wind test and this race is live.
We are good to go. Race 12, the last of the day on the Louis Vuitton preliminary regatta. Emirates Team New Zealand, top of your screen. Pete Burling to the left, Nathan Aldridge to the right, Arnaud Salavagues and Maxime Bachelon, the man steering. Alinghi Red Bull Racing around this magnificent racetrack. Glorious conditions, high humidity too, which sometimes we forget about, but we're 20 seconds away from the port entry. That will be the defender of the Louis Vuitton 37th America's Cup. That boat there, Taihoro, Emirates Team New Zealand. Let's see what their time on distance is like. Looks pretty sharp. Now it's the turn of Alinghi Red Bull Racing. They're allowed to enter at 2 minutes. They will not be getting a early entry penalty here. They'll come in a little bit late, but they'll come steaming in. Time to get it on again.
Tidy entries from both teams.
Good job.
Lighter conditions so important just to keep the pace on, keep the boat on the foils.
Yeah, really important to keep the boat on the foils in these conditions. A little lighter than yesterday's racing, so a lot of pressure on the teams.
They're letting it down. 40. 20. 4 red pistol. Midway down. 28. On. Down. 20. Jump. And you're in. 15.
They're right in the corner, the final turn as they head towards the start line.
Alinghi really have to make sure they accelerate here. Emirates Team New Zealand getting close to getting them hooked. Just keeping clear there, Alinghi. Pressure still well and truly on Emirates Team New Zealand, pushing them hard.
Arnaud Salavagues doing well there just to keep clear, not to engage.
Another little charge if you want. 3.
They look slightly early, both teams.
It's open. Is open. Really slow, guys.
10 seconds to the start line.
7, 6, 5. It's lead phase here, so keep going. They're just shooting for the
Split start at race number 12. Game on between Alinghi Red Bull Racing and Emirates Team New Zealand.
Happy to keep going.
Yeah, hats off to Alinghi Red Bull Racing there. Really lovely job in that pre-start. Actually, time on distance beautifully, putting the pressure on Emirates Team New Zealand and forcing them to do a split start.
Yeah, Emirates Team New Zealand were slow, weren't they, in that last 20 seconds? Forced off to the right-hand side.
First split tack start was seen here, and it was advantage to Alinghi off the line. New Zealand went over to the beach side, and I thought they just showed to have good pace. I think this intersection looks like it's advantage Emirates Team New Zealand, but a very good start by Alinghi. But New Zealand looked to have good pace and good angle coming over from the right.
Close cross here.
Attacking now. We can stay if you want. No, we cannot stay. 3, 2.
Absolutely perfect placed attack there from Emirates Team New Zealand, forcing Alinghi Red Bull Racing to actually have to tack away and clear their air. There was no way, surely, they were going to live there off the hip of Emirates Team New Zealand, so that they bailed early to keep the game alive.
So it's only taken really half the first leg for Emirates Team New Zealand to start really putting pressure on Alinghi Red Bull Racing.
25 to 100. Best VMGP. They're starting to transition.
Big losses in the tacks now. New Zealand went from 34 knots to 26. It's a big speed loss.
Just rebuild a bit.
An 8-knot drop in speed, fairly typical in these conditions. You know, it is a big penalty though. Every manoeuvre, you've got to re-accelerate.
Ready, focus on our maneuver.
Emirates Team New Zealand just giving Alinghi Red Bull Racing no wiggle room to squirm out of there. They're just going to keep coming back, and they'll just keep herding them over to the left-hand side of the course to then ultimately just make them sit in their gas on the long one back to the top mark. So the pain is yet to come.
They're going there. So, 2, 1.
Allez, bon, guys. Hey, keep pushing, guys. We can survive here.
Really threading the eye of the needle. Alinghi Red Bull Racing, not much they can do at the moment except just keep in touch, keep sailing the boat well, rely on your pace, do all the simple things well.
A bit more even now.
I'm trying to lift it, so
yes, I'm happy with that.
Emirates Team New Zealand at the moment, at this point, it's a small lead, but you feel like they've got Alinghi Red Bull Racing somewhat in the vice on that first leg. They will be first to round the top mark for the opening gambit in race number 12, the final race of the day here at the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta on the Mediterranean.
3, 2, 1, here we go. I think I'll follow, just to make the most of this shift.
Alinghi Red Bull Racing, though, they're not out of it. If you remember their race earlier today against Ineos Britannia, they hung in there. They will not go away.
Remember, this team is the benchmark, the defender. And actually for Alinghi Red Bull Racing, lots to be positive about within this race. They are hanging in there.
Yeah, they look impressive. When we just went round behind Emirates Team New Zealand, they're carrying quite a lot of windward heel. And, you know, they just look so powered up. And the other point, I think, is where they're making the big gains is their manoeuvres. They seem to be able to come out of the manoeuvres, get back up to target speed and angle quicker than Alinghi.
all the way, didn't it?
Yep.
This is the race committee. We are moving the leeward gate, shifting the axis to 186 and shortening to 1.45 nautical miles.
Wow, that wind's not dying away, but it's softening really quickly.
Lots of course adjustment, in part because there is a target time, isn't it? 23 minutes. Also because they can move the marks so quickly and so efficiently. They're not attached to the seabed. They are electric, autonomous, controlled by GPS.
This is the race committee. We are moving the finish line, shifting the axis to 180 and shortening the length to 1.3 nautical miles.
Just a little bit more pressure on these boats to keep them going, shortening that course. But this is the second to last leg of this race. Emirates Team New Zealand well ahead of Alinghi Red Bull Racing, and they're still honking up at around 30 knots. So it's still biggest belief that the technology to get these 7-ton monsters in low wind speeds just doing what they're doing. So on a day when the wind has just tailed off at the end of it, Emirates Team New Zealand, the defender of the Louis Vuitton 37th America's Cup, have done pretty much a job, a flawless job on Alinghi Red Bull Racing. They will go into Sunday with a perfect record. They are 4 from 4.
Hands on the cruise.
Confirmation, a perfect 4 from 4 for Emirates Team New Zealand against Alinghi Red Bull Racing. That delta at the end, 1 minute and 15 seconds.